We're so glad you joined us, new parents. There are long lists of do's and don'ts when you become a parent, and it's difficult to remember every one of them. You also need to decipher what you feel works for you, because you know your child's needs better than anyone. However, there are some fundamental things that we as parents should never do to our kids. And here they are, new parents. 1. Don't forget to listen properly. Believe us, we know how it goes when you're parenting. You are on the go all the time. You have supper going, another group message is coming through on your mobile phone, and your dog is barking incessantly. And while all that is happening, your child is trying to tell you about his day. Stop. Put down your phone. Listen. Children know when you're not paying attention, and here's the deal. If you don't listen with the small things, even if you've heard them 1,000 times before, then your child will not tell you the big things. They need to know that you will listen to them. Really listen, no matter what. Of course, there is a limit to this. Your kid can't just interrupt every conversation with the idea that you will drop everything you're doing and listen to them exclusively, as that's just not normal in any society. But, fellow parent, you'll know how to handle the situation. 2. Don't speak for your child. It happens without you even realizing it. Someone asks your child a question like, "What do you want for your birthday cake?" And before the child has a chance to reply, the parent has already answered the question for them. Don't do this. It takes away your child's voice, doesn't build their confidence, and is damaging to their self-esteem. It's our job to prepare them for society, and if they can't even speak for themselves, that is a big parenting fail. 3. Don't force them to hug or kiss people. You will no doubt remember a similar situation from when you were a child, where your mom or dad forced you to hug or kiss someone you really didn't want to. This is something that parents should never do to their children. Force them to hug or kiss people. As parents, we teach our children that our body is private. Nobody touches our body without permission. And if anyone does, you tell a parent right away. But then it's Christmas and your great Uncle Albert, twice removed, comes in for a kiss, and your kid is on high alert and feels totally out of their depth. And you say, "Oh, just give Uncle Albert a kiss." You're sending out mixed messages, and that's not okay. It's our jobs to ensure our kids feel safe at all times, and the possibility of hurting great Uncle Albert's feelings are minor in the greater scheme of things. 4. Don't label your child. You hear this all the time. "Oh, he's the sporty one, and she's the creative one." Parenting 101. Do not label your child. Children who have been labeled often say they felt like they shouldn't even try being sporty or creative because that's not how their parents perceived them. Your child could be missing out on gaining a love for a sport or a creative outlet because that's not them. Let them be. Let them excel in their strengths, but let them also try new areas where they could also excel, or just have a love for whatever it is they're exposed to. By doing this, you will have well-rounded children who turn into well-rounded adults. If you want to avoid other parenting mistakes, be sure to watch our video, Top 10 Parenting Mistakes All New Parents Make. 5. Don't compare your children. Why can't you be more like, insert name here? They are so well-mannered, or so well-read, or eat all their vegetables. We can go on, and this is something that parents should never do. There are a plethora of reasons why parents should not compare their children, but here are just 5. It causes a child to doubt themselves. Jealousy creeps in. Negativity becomes second nature. Children will not feel good enough. They become anxious, nervous adults. If there's something you feel could be improved on, that's fine. But taking a different approach will be more beneficial than comparing your child to anyone else. 6. Don't force your tastes, wants, desires onto them. You've always wanted a daughter to be able to dress her up in little ballet dresses and send her to dance lessons. And your daughter despises ballet. So you end up forcing her to do dancing, which leads to resentment from both your sides and a whole lot of money wasted. Save yourself the trouble and don't try and live vicariously through your children. There are of course exceptions, like swimming lessons for example, which they may not enjoy but are extremely important for them to have. 7. Don't forget to teach your child they have a right to say no. Teaching your child to say no is a great way to empower them. It's a skill that many adults haven't learned, and they end up never having the power to say no. We're not speaking about your child being able to say no when you've asked them to eat their dinner or brush their teeth, but rather to teach them the idea of consent. If your child feels uncomfortable when presented with a request, they need to be able to say no and inform a parent of the request. Role-playing is a great way to learn the skill, and you can also teach them to trust their instinct. Trusting one's gut feeling has made people escape a lot of harmful relationships or situations. 8. Don't ignore mental health problems. We're quick to assume that children don't have mental health problems, or cover up worries by justifying the behavior or saying they're just going through a stage. Children can also struggle with their mental health, and this time, new parents, it's up to you to trust your gut instinct, and if you have a feeling something is amiss, don't let it go. Do something about it. Make an appointment with a child psychologist, see your ped, speak to a teacher. Just make sure you're doing something. 9. Don't add unnecessary pressure. Here's the thing. We all want these incredibly talented all-rounders who play cricket, do swimming, play lacrosse, love drama, want to be on the debating team, and it's one activity after the next after the next. When we become adults, life is already so pressurized. So why add pressure to children when the window is so small to really just be a kid? Allow them the space and freedom to be that child, the time to play in the mud, to use their imaginations, to be creative and to play uninhibited. 10. Don't comment on their body development in front of others. As if a changing body isn't enough for a child, preteen or teen to handle. To have a parent point it out in the company of others is a big no-no. It will make them feel embarrassed and ashamed, whereas they should be feeling proud and excited about their new journey they're about to go on. Anything to do with your child's body is private and only happens behind closed doors, and the only comments should be encouraging, loving, and supportive. Still to come, new parents, the most valuable lesson you could teach your children. 11. Don't avoid awkward conversations. We know it's not easy to speak to your child about certain topics, and talks about menstrual cycles, wet dreams, sex are enough to have many parents in a flat spin, and instead of speaking about those things, they pretend they don't exist. Now, here's a question, fellow parent. What would you rather have? Your child learning about sex from a friend at school? Or your child learning about sex from you? I think we know the answer. The truth is, if your child doesn't get the right guidance or information from you, they will find other ways to retrieve that information, and that could be damaging to your child. Don't avoid those awkward conversations. They're often not nearly as bad as you anticipate. Parents today are fortunate that there are so many websites available to help with that awkward conversation and what is age appropriate. We think we need to divulge a lot at one go. But the younger they are, the more basic you can keep the information. Chances are your little one will lose interest and want to run off and play outside before you've even finished. 12. Don't always do things for them. It's our job as parents to empower our children, and by continually doing things for our children, we fail to do this. Our children are capable of a lot more than we give them credit for. We jump up immediately when our children call for help, and this doesn't do them any favors. We need to give them a chance to try, and try again. Imagine how proud they will be of themselves when they manage to accomplish something without having to have relied on you. And we promise, you will feel just as proud. 13. Don't be their best friend. You're a parent first and friend second. Because as your child is growing up, they don't need a best friend in you, they need a mom or a dad who can actually parent. When you're buddy-buddy with your kid, it can be very difficult to enforce rules and boundaries. It's not our job to be liked as a parent, it's our job to parent, and by doing so, we are often not liked. When we put everything in place and are reaping the rewards of our good parenting, then our kids will want to be friends with us, because their respect for us will have grown because of your great parenting. Being a friend to a child is the easy option, being a parent is the tough one. 14. Don't be afraid to say you're sorry. Probably the two most difficult words to say in the world are, I'm sorry. And if you have made a mistake, then own up to it. Take responsibility and say you're sorry. Children learn from us, and by apologizing to your child, will teach your child humility and forgiveness. The ripple effect of these two simple words is enormous. 15. Don't forget to tell them you love them. I love you are the most amazing words to hear, And a child needs to hear them often. They need to hear them when they've done well, when they have made a mistake, and just because. It reminds children that they are always worthy of love, and they in turn will share love. Love leads to trust, confidence, and hope, and dispels fear, rejection, and loneliness, all needed for healthy, stable children and adults. What do you think a parent should never do to their children? We always value your input in the comments below. We love that you stayed with us till the end, and we are about to share the most important lesson a parent can teach their children. The most important lesson to teach your child is to learn to live without you. As hard as what that sounds, every other lesson will link to this big one. Optimistic children, independent thinkers, self-reliant, value themselves, know their worth. We can go on. But all of those lessons lead to the most important, and that is leaving behind amazing children and adults who will then go on and do the same. Till next time, new parents.